Hi guys, Scott Woodward with you to talk about the North Queensland Cowboys' chances for the NRL 2012 season. And look, they finished 7th last year and had a lot of things went wrong with them, and I think they can go a hell of a lot better this year, and I think they have a genuine chance of winning this competition at very good odds. I think they should be shorter than what they are in the market. It's a very open competition, but I think they have just as good a chance as any team in the competition, and I think their list and depth in the list is just as good as any team in the competition, and we're going to talk about that in a second. They certainly don't have too much problems in terms of attack. They have an enormous attack. They did very well offensively last year. Where they went poorly was defence, and if they can fix that up, they're going to be very, very hard to beat. And some of the young guns that they've got have been showing great promise in their Toyota Cup team. Will be getting their chance in 2012, and they are immensely talented. Really looking forward to seeing how some of these guys come through. Last year the Cowboys were number 13 for missed tackles, and that was their problem. That was why they didn't go higher than what they did. They did all the good work. They looked dangerous, and then they let themselves down by doing some dumb missed tackles and just not communicating. They were doing everything right in attack. They were the number 2 team for tries scored. They were the number 3 team for making line breaks, and they were the number 4 team for tackle breaks. They are enormous stats, and on top of that, they were number 5 for errors conceded, and I'm very big on errors conceded. So that tells me that it's a very good offensive team and a very disciplined. They don't make a lot of dumb errors. What they do wrong is they make a lot of dumb missed tackles, and they don't get back in time, and they don't defend their line very well. When a team gets the ball from a mistake and they attack their line, they seem to panic, and a lot of teams get very, very soft tries on them. That's an area that they can fix up, but if you look at this team, we're going to talk about their starting 13. It's as good as any team in the competition, and not only is it good, it's certainly as exciting. What a wonderful team it is. Matt Burren will be their fullback, and he had a wonderful season last year after some really bad injuries. He's just come back, and it's a credit to himself and the coaching staff at the Cowboys that they got him back like they did. If he has another season like he had last year, that will be just absolutely icing on the cake for the Cowboys. Matt Bowen at fullback. The 2 wingers I would expect will be FiaFia-Loa will be one. He had a terrific season last year, finished with representative honours, and Ash Graham. And while he doesn't make any headlines, Ash Graham, if you look at his statistics and you look at the line breaks that he makes, and he's a guy that doesn't make a lot of mistakes, he's a really, really good club winger, and I don't see any reason why he won't hold that right wing position again. The Cowboys are very strong in the centres. Of course, they've got the international Brent Tate, who recovered from yet another broken leg last year. He's had broken legs, he's had injured knees, he's had everything goes wrong with him, and here's hoping that he has a great 2012. He certainly deserves it. He's a wonderful player and a wonderful team man, and good in defence and attack. So he'll be one of the centres. I would think the Rooster, Kane Linnett, will come in and be the other centre. But other guys that are vying for those positions will be Winterstein, and one of the young guns, Moses Pengai, I think will be pressing for a centre position also. So they have good depth in that position as well. But look, their real strength is Jonathan Thurston. I think that he may play second receiver. He will alternate, I would think, between first receiver and second receiver, but I expect him to play number 6 for Queensland and Australia, so I think he will go to that position for his club, and that will allow Robert Louis, providing everything is okay with Robert Louis. This is an immensely talented young kid, Robert Louis, but he has problems off the field, and if they can get his head right and they can get him training well and playing to his best, Robert Louis combining with Jonathan Thurston will be an awesome combination. And we saw some of the things that Robert Louis did when he was at West Tigers with Benji Marshall. And I don't see any reason why he can't repeat the same thing with Thurston. And he's 12 months older, 12 months more mature, 12 months more experience. And I think Robert Louis and Jonathan Thurston combined with Matty Bowen, and then we'll combine that with one of the young gun hookers in James Seyeyaro, will be just an unbelievable spine. It's an unbelievable attacking spine. And I think young James will come in and probably oust Aaron Payne for that starting position. Based on what we saw last year, there's no doubt that Seyeyaro should be the starting hooker in place of Aaron Payne. Aaron Payne looked a shadow of his former self to me last year, and unless he had some injuries that we don't know about, I don't think he's entitled to hold down the starting position. But the coach is very loyal to Payne, and he may start with him and do what he did last year and bring Seyeyaro on after 20 minutes or so. But it's an outstanding option for him to have in attack. One of the big strengths also for the Knights is they've got a lot of kids that could come through into the halves as well. I've got a very high opinion of young Michael Parker-Walsh, who has done some wonderful things in the Toyota Cup, and obviously we know Michael Morgan and Ray Thompson. I think they go okay. We've said it a million times, okay is not good enough if you're going to be playing a key position like 6 or 7, but they are okay players. Michael Parker-Walsh, I would like to see him get his chance in first grade. But really, Robert Louis is the standout first selection with Jonathan Thurston, if all is well in that camp. Let's have a look at the props. James Tamou will try and hold down the other starting prop position, along with their champion prop Matthew Scott, who played a lot with injury last year. He has some back problems, and it's hoping that he will get those right, because a lot will rely on Matthew Scott giving the Cowboys a lot of go forward to allow their stunning back line to do their stuff. So it looks like it'll be Matthew Scott with James Tamou. That would be my starting props, but they have a lot of options. We'll talk about some of their options in a second, but let's talk about their back rowers. Two of the most promising back rowers in the NRL, Tariq Sims and Jason Taumalolo. It's hard to say that, but let's get used to saying it, because we're going to be saying it for another 10 years. He reminds me of a very young Arthur Beetson, Jason Taumalolo. I saw him when he was 15, and he was just amazing. He could step off both feet, take the line on, and get the ball away. Just quite amazing. And he's still fast enough to play in the back row. I think he may end up in the front row, and I'm sure he'll be used in the front row at some stage, because there is a lot of depth in the back line for the Cowboys. They also have Corey Patterson there, who can play in that position and will be a contender for a starting position. The Cowboys are blessed to have the experience of Dallas Johnson locking the scrum. We talked about one of their problems in defence and defending their line. Well, there's no better guy defending your line than Dallas Johnson, and the way that he will talk and his attitude in defence, I think a lot of that will rub off on a lot of these young guys, and he's a very valuable member of the Cowboys team, Dallas Johnson, to lock that scrum. But have a look at some of these guys that we've got, Jason Taumalolo and Tariq Sims in the back row, along with Dallas Johnson. That is an outstanding back line, and of course we've got the champion prop Matthew Scott up front. Have a look at some of the skill and some of the promise of the bench that we have of the Cowboys, and you can see why I think they'll go very well in 2012. From the Toyota Cup, Chris Greves Mule, very hard to say. Once again, we need to get used to saying that name. He went terrific in the Toyota Cup last year. I expect him to get his chance in the top grade this year. Ethan Lowe had a terrific year for the Roosters last year. He's been pinched. I expect him to get his chance also this year. We've seen a little bit of Joel Rettmuller. He's very promising. I expect to see a lot more of him this year. And also Dane Hogan. You won't miss him with the white hair. Very promising also. A couple of the other young guns that they've got, Luke Harlan and Kyle Felt. I think they also will be pushing for bench positions during the year, particularly around Stave Origin time. Some of the names that we know that will be in contention for the bench, Glenn Hall, Isaac Mao, Ashton Sims could be a contender to start at prop. Scott Bolton, Gavin Cooper, and of course the versatile Ben Jones. There's a lot of depth in this side, but their starting 13 is outstanding. It's very, very attacking. I would like to see more defence-oriented players in the side. That's why I think Dallas Johnson is very important to this side. I think guys like Brent Tate are very important in this side. Guys that know how to defend. I have a concern with their defence, and I'd like to see some of these young guys defend a little bit better than what they have done. And guys like Tariq Sims need to get the shoulder charge out of his game and just concentrate on tackling properly. They need to just watch Dallas Johnson. And I think if they can get their act together, I have got no doubt that this team will be scoring 22 plus points in every game they play in 2012, and we know that that takes you a long way to winning most games. So look, there it is for me, at around the $16, $17 mark. I think that the North Queensland Cowboys are outstanding value in this competition to go all the way and win the competition with Jonathan Thurston, the best player in the world, in my opinion, the best player that I've seen in rugby league and since Andrew Johns has retired, and with him leading the way, with him not having any injuries during the year, they will be there or thereabouts come September. I have no doubt about that. Good luck if you're a Cowboys fan.